Tracey a big round of applause.
So we all make choices every day in life, and some are bigger than others. But it's not every day that we make a life-changing decision. Being that we just had an election, the past 2 months of our lives have been spent listening to the two candidates discuss varying topics. And of course, abortion came into play a few times. Today, I want to challenge the way you think about abortion. Whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, I want you to just support a woman's right to choose what goes on within her own body. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what abortion is and what it means to be pro-choice. And then I'm going to tell you why adoption isn't always the best solution. And finally, I will tell you the role abortion plays in the case of rape victims who become pregnant. So what is abortion? By Merriam-Webster's 2016 definition, the full definition of abortion is the termination of a pregnancy after, accompanied by, resulting in, or closely followed by the death of an embryo or fetus. Now that sounds kind of bad, I get it, but you know. Abortion is very common in the US for many reasons that I'm not going to get into just quite yet. Planned Parenthood writes on their site in 2016 that 3 out of 10 women in the US will have had an abortion by the time they're 45. There are 2 types of abortions, one being in-clinic abortion and the other being the abortion pill, which is more commonly known as the morning after pill. And there are 2 types of in-clinic abortions within that, and one of them is vacuum aspiration and the other is dilation and evacuation. And New Kid Center writes on their site in 2016, most abortions are done around the 12th or 13th week, and in most states they are done by the 14th week, that's the cutoff. However, in few states they're allowed to be done until the 24th week, and that's known as the week of viability, which basically means that the embryo is now a fetus that can survive outside the womb. Now, being pro-choice doesn't mean that you support abortion at any stage in the pregnancy. It does not mean that you get to see like an 8-month pregnant woman and she just gets to decide then it's okay. That's not what that means. It literally means that you support a woman's right to choose what goes on her own body. Pro-choice is not a synonym for pro-abortion. It's not the same thing. So I just told you a little about what abortion is and what it means to be pro-choice. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the downsides to adoption. So many people who are against abortion feel adoption is a very viable choice for those who don't feel that they're ready to parent. However, I don't disagree with that, but however, adoption's not always the answer. It's not the best solution for some. Mark Applegate writes on Livestrong.com on May 24th, 2016, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Family, 641,000 children lived in foster care in 2012. Even with the 52,000 adoptions that occurred in 2012, there were still 102,000 children that were legally ready to be adopted with 0 parental rights or strings attached. Now that's over 500,000 children who were completely ready to be adopted, who were living in foster care. And the sad reality is that over half of those kids, most kids who live in the system, end up spending at least a few years, as a minimum, 2 to 3, in foster care before getting adopted. And the sad reality is that some of them never get adopted. And this is harmful for their development, of course, and many of them who don't get adopted have problems later in life with forming emotional bonds and relationships. So I just told you a little about some of the downsides to adoption, and now I'm going to tell you about the role abortion plays in the lives of rape victims. Sorry. So another argument presented in the abortion argument, another point, yeah, okay, is that of rape cases that result in pregnancy. Now I'm going to start off by warning you this is an extremely small percentage. Linda Lowen writes on About.com on May 19th, 2009 that roughly 1% of women who have had abortions said that they are a victim of rape. A statistic she found in Lawrence B. Finer's article, Reasons Why U.S. Women Have Abortions, Quantitative and Qualitative Perspectives. Now, this is a tiny perspective, but let's take a minute to think about how many women are going to really give you a reason as to why they're getting an abortion. And also consider how many rape victims are uncomfortable enough, that are so uncomfortable to talk about the traumatic experience that they don't tell police or their family members. So you can just imagine how many people aren't actually giving their reasoning. And I feel that the stigma that we put on abortion in this country is what helps skew this data, because I really do feel like the percentages are off because of how many women are unwilling to give a reason when they go into the clinic and they're surrounded by people protesting them, telling them they're wrong for a decision that they feel is right for them. And if a woman feels that she can carry a baby for 9 months, that's fine. And if she feels like she can be bound to it for life, that's her choice. It should be up to the individual. And some argue that getting an abortion after being raped is continuing violence with violence, and however, this isn't their decision. This is up to the woman who has gone through that traumatic experience. She knows what she can handle and what she cannot handle. So why should anyone else be able to tell her what she can and can't do? So I'm going to conclude my speech. I just told you about, go back for a second. I just told you about what abortion is and what it means to be pro-choice, and then I told you about why adoption isn't always the best solution. And finally, I told you the role abortion plays in the lives of rape victims. So my goal today was to get you to think about abortion and to think about your stance on the issue and to help you get a better understanding of what it really means to be pro-choice and most of all to understand the struggle that many women in this country go through due to the stigma. So this is Rachel. She's a 19-year-old college student. She's very outgoing, incredibly smart. She's a full-time college student, and she also works full-time, and she has to help support her. She fully supports herself and helps support her mother, who's sick and out of work because she's sick. And last week, Rachel found out that she was 8 weeks pregnant. So why should anyone be able to tell Rachel what she can and can't do with her body when she is not sure that she's ready to become a parent? So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to leave you with one more saying: no uterus, no opinion. That's it.